Hey guys, and welcome back to My Tesla Weekend, where we are going to review all of the Gigafactory construction site progress. Giga Shanghai. This has been 2 weeks delayed because there was a EXPO and a no-fly zone for drones, but you can see this new ingress for trucks and whatnot is moving along very quickly. It was just a bit of mud, and now it's taking shape. When we get to the factory, you can see the big ramp down from phase 2 is now completely gone. And if you look further in that area, you'll see everything's gone. In the center road, there is no longer dirt, but an awful lot of asphalt. I would have thought they would go with concrete. Perhaps the asphalt is underlayment. Also, you can see there's a lot of cleaning that has gone up and some additional roof work, but mostly it just looks better and closer to finished. Here you can see a small steel building that was just beginning construction 2 weeks ago, which now is mostly complete. Between these two buildings, there was a bit of work, but now you can see it's screaming along. A cajillion pipes are laid out and ready for work. A lot of the periphery of the site has been landscaped and cleaned up and paved, and it's ready to go. Moving on to Giga Berlin. In Berlin, we can see the main concrete structure is ever nearing the completion adjacent place where it will ultimately live. Those are all words that make sense in order. I have just decided. The northernmost face of the building is beginning to be enclosed. The countless cranes on site are still doing great work. The corridor between the concrete and steel building is closing in quickly. And the foundations to the north of the steel building are looking great. Last week they were mostly forms and a bit of concrete. This week a lot of them have been backfilled, and they are no longer just concrete stubs in the mud. They're kind of sealed off and looking good. We're not entirely sure. The graphics say that this will be for stamping. Perhaps that's true, but in any case, it's progressing quite quickly. And I think we can all agree that that is a good thing. Hit me in the comments if you disagree. And also subscribe. Come on, pretty please. This part of the building may not look like it's had a lot of progress, but it has. The foundations underneath are nearing completion. The steel rails are almost complete. And there's a lot more pillars and columns and roof work that's evident in this shot. And as you look inside, you'll see that what last week was just wet forms and a bit of foundation work is now a heck of a lot closer to completion. And this is how you dry in a factory. Next week, the concrete plant on site will be used to lay the actual floor, the factory floor, upon which everything's going to be built. If you look at the roofs, you'll see there's been so much progress made. Last week, it was mostly, sticks and frames. And this week, there's a lot more roof completed. There's a lot more everything completed. A lot of the cranes have been moved out or at least relocated. And what we saw last week was a lot of empty skeleton. And this week we see, completed roofs and German gentlemen walking at ridiculous paces. If this is how fast they walk, it's no surprise how fast they're getting this factory done. Though I should say, I may have sped up the footage a bit. At the end of the project here, we can see some massive concrete pillars. And in the bottom, you can see that those pillars have been filled in with panels, with massive cement panels. These are impenetrable firewalls, and they take a considerable amount of energy to move them into place, and they've done it. Giga Texas. This is just my jam. I love Giga Texas. If you look in the bottom, you will see there are so many more footings which have been cut and filled with rebar and or concrete. And if you look at the gazebo, you'll see that it is 4 times larger than it was a week ago. And down in the corner, there's a lot of messy work going on. That is where they need to put in grout in addition to the geopier work. In the bottom, you will also see that strange narrow pit has now been chaffed. I don't know. It's got ridges cut in the side, and the area under the power lines is more complete. I don't know, for parking. And as we move to the giant pit, you'll see that what last week was some mud, some concrete, in some forms, is now about 75% either complete or filled with rebar. These forms will be poured presumably within the next week. This is going to be amazing. The small pit is no longer a pit. It has been backfilled around the concrete work, and it's looking ready for construction. At the edge of the pit, the roadway has been expanded substantially by maybe 20 or 30 feet. In the top, you can see them putting the dirt, and in the bottom, you can see the dirt is there. On the other side of the property, you can see the piering work is still continuing, but the grading has expanded and sped up, and there are vastly more footer holes cut, many of them already filled with concrete and or rebar and or, the bolts necessary to put them all together and place steel beams atop them. At the northernmost edge of the property, the small retention ponds, which were not included in the site plan, have been seeded with, I assume, grass and watered. And in the bottom frame, momentarily, you will see that they are turning green, as plants do. I mean, they get they're solar powered. It's solar powered grass is what I'm saying. The switch yard is moving along quickly. At the top, you can see last week it was very well graded, and this week they have placed final sand atop it to begin construction. In the top, you can see that the small switchyard area was complete, and in the bottom, you can see a vastly, vastly larger area is ready to go. So let's talk about some bonus footage, huh? Bonus, yeah? On the other side of the freeway, on the land Tesla also owns, where they had previously just slapped some dirt, presumably for storage, at this point, they have begun clearing the land. You can see those wacky ridges. Those were old remnants from the time when the property was used as a sand and gravel mine, when the previous owner did nothing for site remediation. It appears as though something is going to happen over here. Ignore that possible road access. That's not going to happen. Yeah, that's not going to happen. But something is going to be built over here. We just don't know what, and we don't know when. Let me know in the comments what you think is going to be built, because I'm curious. And certainly you guys got to know better than me. And for some more bonus footage, they've added a third shift. They're building at night. They're geopeering. They're working on foundation. They're doing some rebar work. The site is active at night. I know it looks like creepy security footage, and kind of it does, because Jeff got lower than he would during daylight hours. You can see the grouted pier foundation area is busy at work. The small batch plant for concrete, you can see here, is a bit idle, but it is still working. And in a moment, you will see that the larger Marionetta, whatever, the larger concrete plant is also working. They really want to reach dry-in by the end of December, and it looks like they're really busting their butts overtime to make it happen. So guys, that's it for this week. Show me some love just with a subscribe or a comment or a thumbs up. Do what you got to do. But if you like this, help YouTube figure it out. Thank you. And I miss you guys so much.